Hello friends, let us start now. Lecture number 2 on Talcott Parsons. From the analysis of social action in his first book that was published in 1937, The Structure of Social Action, Parsons moved to the analysis of social system and social structure in his second book that was published in 1951, and the name was The Social System. He defined the social system as the system of series of social actions towards other which become pattern of interaction between many actors. So it is about pattern interactions. The series of social action is the basic unit of social system, just as the successive individual actions or unit acts are the basic unit of social action. He says that as variously oriented actors in terms of their configuration of motivational and value orientations interact, they come to develop agreements and sustain patterns of interactions, which becomes institutionalized. Such institutionalized patterns are conceptualized as a social system. So, social system is the institutionalized patterns of interactions, according to Parsons. In this way, he moved away from the analysis of microphenomena of individual actions to the social structure, social system, and social organizations. Parsons argues that although social actions are culturally shaped, there is duality of cultural pattern due to the presence of different degrees of motivational orientation and value orientation. This duality is manifested at 5 levels. Parsons called these manifestations as pattern variable. This is in the civil services syllabus. These refer to the dilemma of the actor. So let us see what are the 5 pattern variables are. First one is particularism versus universalism. This is concerned with the evaluation of the role performance of others in two situations with respect to personal or impersonal standards. Particularism, when a person only concerns the personal, that is kinship consideration, friendship considerations, caste consideration, religious consideration, etc. Here the violations of the norms, rules, law takes place to favor a particular person. Universalism. Here universal standards are applicable to all in every kind of situation, circumstance. The legal norms, sanctions are abided by as the rule prescribe. Second pattern variables is ascription versus achievement. This is concerned with the evaluation of inborn qualities against merit. Ascription. Here the evaluation of the role performance is considered according to the inborn qualities. Ascriptions such as kinship, caste or religion, etc. For example, in a strong political organization, only those candidates are favored for some post or job which have any kin, caste, region or any such connection with party heads, even against the qualified candidates. Achievement. The evaluation is based on the performance or merit of an individual in any kind of competition, examination or trial. For example, the evaluation of the role of a student cannot be on the basis of their qualities of birth such as kinship, caste or religion, but is always be on merit. Third one is affective versus affective neutrality. This pattern variable is concerned with the amount of emotion or effect. Affectivity, the actor lays emphasis on one's gratification, avoiding pain and maximizing pleasure. Here the emotions play their role quite effectively even it disturbs the discipline. The role performance of a mother with her children is a different situation which must be affective or emotional in order to ensure proper care and efficient socialization of children. Affective neutrality. Here the actors lays more emphasis on the discipline, deferring gratification even at the cost of one's pain or even death. A doctor, while treating a patient, has to be without emotion in order to ensure proper care and efficient treatment of patient. Similarly, a soldier has to be effective neutral in combating any enemy plans. Fourth one is diffuseness versus specificity. This is concerned with the scope of the obligation in role performance in two different situations, in one of the which the obligations are narrow and other is broad. Diffusion. The role performance in this situation is wide in scope and infinitely broad and concerned with many aspects of relationship. That is diffused. For example, the relationship between husband and wife and the role of mother in a situation involving children as well as the role of performance of friends is always broad because it is concerned with many aspects of the relationship. Specificity. This concern only with one aspect of relationship, specific, which is limited in scope. For example, the role of doctor in a situation evaluating the health of patient has narrow scope of obligations, or the doctor is concerned only with one aspect of the patient, which involves the health status or disease. Fifth one is collective orientation versus self-orientation. This is concerned with whether the role performance is based on self-interest and personal goals, self-orientation, or it is based on collective interest and collective goals. Self-orientation. When self-interest and personal gratifications are involved and held higher than that of collectivity, a doctor can never act on the basis of self-interest. A true leader of any specific movement has to focus on the collective goals rather than any self-interest. Collective orientation. No self-interest or personal goals are considered in collective orientation. One differs is her gratification for good of large number of people. Collectively. Had the freedom fighters of our country run after the self-interest, the country would then still have been reeling under the clutches of imperialism. So these are 5 pattern variables. Now let us move forward. These 5 patterns variable can be categorized under Gemeinschaft and Gesellschaft. That concept was given by German sociologist Ferdinand Tönnies. Gemeinschaft is property of a simple community, small society, and Gesellschaft means large society, industrialized society, modern society. We can name that. So even in case of Durkheim, traditional society characterized by mechanical solidarity can be compared with Gemeinschaft, and Gesellschaft, that means modern society characterized by organic solidarity. So here the pattern variables aspects like particularism, quality, that means ascription, affectivity, diffuseness, collective orientation, all are part of Gemeinschaft. And in Gesellschaft, universalism, performance, affective neutrality, specificity, self-orientation are part of modern industrial society. Now let us move forward. He developed new concepts for the analysis of social system, which give it stability. The concept of status role goals. leads to organization of the social system, and concept of institutionalization give stability to the social system. So now Parson is talking about how to organize the social system and how to bring stability in the social system. So here let us move forward. The concept of status goal organizes the social system in such a way that interaction takes place not between the actors but between the status goal. Status, that means role, differs in the pattern of occupation. It depends on the different type of occupation, and goal differs to what an actor does in that position. This means that the status goals are acquired by This means that actors may change, but the pattern of interaction is always organized in the same way because it takes place between status goals and not between actors. Parsons further says that the stability of social system is ensured by a process he called institutionalization. That means internalization of norms and values. This means that status goals are acquired by norms. As variously oriented actors interact in terms of their configuration of motivational and value orientation, they come to develop agreements and sustain pattern of interaction which become institutionalized. Such institutionalized patterns can be in Parsons' view conceptualized as social system. So it is social system is all about institutionalized patterns of interaction according to Talcott Parsons. Hence it is system of actions made up of interactions, actor and object, goals and situation, conditions, motivational and value orientations. Parsons argues that system has certain needs, that it has functional prerequisites. When these needs are fulfilled, equilibrium established. Parts, that means subsystems, satisfy these needs. Contribution of parts in fulfilling of needs is called function. So here Talcott Parsons is talking about a structural functionalism aspects of sociology. Since it is an action system equilibrium, it is dynamic in nature. It is a dynamic process as action itself involves change. There is an environment which is in flux, thus for forcing the system to change. Parsons looked only at universal general needs when developing this model, as he was interested in general theory building, macroscopic analysis, and for a system we must have these needs. These needs become inevitable. Parsons has talked about 4 universal needs. First one is adaptation. A system has environment and there is symbiotic interdependence between them. A system has the need for adaptation. A system is in dynamic equilibrium, either by changing environment or itself or both. Second one is goal attainment. System is a goal oriented activity. Third one is integration. System is a unified whole made up of interdependent parts. There is need of integration for cohesion and coordination of parts. Fourth one is latency, need for pattern maintenance and tension management. System is a structure that is definite pattern of relationship between different parts. All parts of the system have internalized values which provide motivational energy to follow the pattern. every system must ensure that the prerequisite values are internalized by the parts. So here Parson is emphasizing on the internalization of values by parts of the system. Parson called this latency as these are hidden in the system. Parsons replaced the need for pattern maintenance and tension management by latency. Parsons called these four universal needs as AGIL schema. Then he looked at the parts that should fulfill these needs, leading to equilibrium. In his work towards a general theory of action in 1951, he looks at social action as a system and shows how parts of the system, that means social action, satisfy the needs. This he called as functional paradigm of system of social action. That means parts of system and how they satisfy the needs. So he called it as fundamental paradigm of system of social action. Now let us see the parts of the social action as a system. First one is organismic system. Biological or physical aspects makes energy available. For example, father brings in money to energize the family affairs. So here adaptational need is fulfilled by this subsystem of social action system. Personality system, role playing skills, emotions, tension, stress, wishes are always there. So it is all about goal attainment. It is personality system involving goal attainment. Third one is social system, pattern of interaction. That means integration of different parts. For that, interaction is must. Fourth one is cultural system. It involves values, beliefs, norms, and it fulfills the latency function. Here Parsons say that social system is the subject matter of sociology. Earlier, before 1951, he was emphasizing on the social action as a subject matter of sociology, but here now Parson is emphasizing that the social system is a subject matter of sociology, and the other three subsystems, organismic system, personality system, and cultural system, constitute the environment. So organic system is part of biology, personality system is part of psychology, and cultural system is part of anthropology. These above sciences constitute environment or ecology of sociology, according to Parson. For Parson, social system is the main focus of social inquiry and thus the subject matter of sociology. He argues that the social action is the building block of social life, but it is linked or preceding as well as succeeding action. That is, social life consists of social interactions. Multiplicity of patterns of social interactions constitute social system. There are many social systems, for example, family, political party, social community, etc. But Parsons chose just the most inclusive, that is society. Parsons developed the functional paradigm of society as a social system consisting of the following four parts. You have to remember this term, functional paradigm. So first part is economic system which fulfills the adaptational need. Political system which fulfills the goal attainment. Third one is societal community, for example nation, fulfills the integrational needs. And fourth one is fiduciary system, that is education, mass media, religion, etc. It fulfills the latency function. Economic system characterized by universalism, effective neutrality, performance. It It is all about characteristics of that economic system. For stability, societal community characterized by quality, diffuseness, particularism, effectivity. So even if you are not mentioning it, no need to worry. These subsystems exist in interdependent. Each subsystem we may call system also influences the other through input and output. For example, laws are output of political system but input for societal community, harmonizing the conflict demand. Similarly, votes are output of social community but input of political system. Thus there is a continuous exchange. That is, all subsystems are mutually interdependent and compatible. Parsons argues that perfect equilibrium is only an ideal state. It is never achieved. Only working order is possible. Due to complexities of interconnected parts and dilemmas, that is pattern variables in actors. Now Parsons is talking about the major threat in the system. First one is threat at interactional level. Mutual steering mechanism will work only if there is a general agreement on the basic values and norms. Second threat is when goals of individual and society are at conflict. This can be resolved by harmonizing individual interest with social interest. Third major threat is subsystem incompatibility. It happens when one system changes without changing another. Every subsystem should ensure through internal dynamics that there should be subsystem compatibility. For example, family brings about order in society by performing two incredible functions: primary socialization and adult personality stabilization, early nurturing. Therefore, family keeps members on track. Similarly, religion plays two important functions: strengthen value consensus and answer the unanswerable. So they are an integral part of social system. Social stratification, system inequality, strengthen value consensus. For example, better performance, better award. Critics, particularly critical theorists, have criticized Parsons' structural functionalism because Parsons is emphasizing on the structural aspects and functional aspects of social system and social action. So critics have criticized Parsons' structural functionalism as a status quo ideology, maintaining the status quo and inequality, unable to see conflict inherent in the society. According to Parsons, everything is society is leading to stability. Critics have also argued that inequality makes people challenging existing norms and values. For example, caste system and related inequalities causing conflict and tension in the Indian society. Parsons failed to give many answers to fundamental questions through his structural functionalism approach. The way he has conceived system is at basic fault. Social system is not always self-equilibrating. Example, we can mention the India example like caste conflict. So internally it is not possible to maintain equilibrium. Now by mid 1950s, he realized the limitations of his approach and started drifting away from his earlier approach. Here began his phase 3 sociological journey. So in next lecture we will complete the phase 3 and critical evaluation of Talcott Parsons works. Thank you very much.